Hello everyone, today we are back with more Rootreemania. Let's just get right back into the juicy drama, okay? Who are you? You've got to be someone. Okay, now I think it might be time to go. I mean, I'm so embarrassed that I didn't get the police officer thing. I had it in my notes and I just completely neglected it. Now I think maybe we'll look at Beth Knox. I was gonna go look up the lawyer girl, but I don't want to do that anymore. Oh, I forgot we had something about her. No. Are you Beth? Where did we hear about Beth Knox? Oh, I just took... Oh, because it was Elizabeth. Maybe if I look up Elizabeth Knox. Oh. Nope. No dice. Okay, what if I look up... is this new? The Clant's Trust is the Roottrees Company's unusual legal arrangement and the motivation for most of their major financial decisions. As a recap, the entire family earns inheritance directly from the profits of the candy company, as well as their sister clothing company, Root. We should look that up too, probably. That means that, because they were talking about there's somebody else that was leading that. I should look that up for sure. This means that nearly every Rootree can potentially have a say in the company's high-level operations. Historically, this has caused the family to be slow to approve any major expenditures that could significantly dig into the profits. After the release of Six Pieces by Sam Madsen, the Clant's Trust came under heavy scrutiny. Sam, her children, and her grandchildren should have all been covered under the trust, according to the wording revealed during an internal family conflict between Ron and Robbie Rootree. You always knew that. You always knew they should have been included. It seems that those who wrote the trust, Clancy, Edward, and Elias, at the direction of Elias, purposely deceived the rest of the family about the exact details of how it worked in an attempt to keep Sam and her father Edward, Clancy, his own twin brother, in comparative poverty. Because the rest of the family made money hand over fist, they had very little motivation to question their understanding. Right. Sam's book revealed this to the public, and it did not go over well. Clark Rafferty LaRoe took over the company, and his most celebrated move was his first official one. Maybe I can look up I can look up him now, probably. He ensured Sam's family would get their share. To help facilitate this, the inheritance aspect of the trust is now under control of a third party, Ruby Legal Enterprises. I know, I'll look it up soon. This ensures that the financial motivations of Rootree family members will not interfere with the investigation into potential new Rootrees. According to Clark's letter, however, some family members are still doing their best to slow the investigation by refusing to answer questions. Well, that's not surprising. Maybe I could look at the periodicals. Okay, what about this guy? No. No new articles about him at all? The secret freaking child? What about John Miller? Nope. Alright then, well. Who are you, ma'am? Okay, I think I'm finally gonna go look up this freaking girl. Okay. Ruby Legal Enterprises is the name of the law firm that has been hired by the Rootree Candy Company. The company is named after its head lawyer, Ruby Spratt. You can't find much about the company from before this year, although all of the articles tell the same tale. After the fiasco of Six Pieces and the revelation that the Rootrees internal law group was complicit in such a cover-up, they hired outside counsel. The Ruby Legal Enterprise Group now seems to have ties to multiple aspects of the Rootree Corporation, including the candy company Root. They were recently in the news due to a high-profile lawsuit they raised against Cicely Sanchez. Is that not a mom? Is that a mom? Tell me. I'm gonna put... Did I already put this as a term to look up later? Yes. Sorry. Oops. Okay. Cicely Sanchez. Let's go look you up, girl. Oops. I skipped. I let go. Cicely Sanchez is an author best known for Portrait of a Changed Man, released in 1979. Oh, her follow-up Foreign Gospel did not perform as well critically, but still sold quite respectably. She had written a few more books since then, including a biography of Van Gogh, but refers to her claim to fame. According to a site about authors, Cicely is known for her nonfiction with a focus on exploring darkness in the human psyche. Recently, Cicely appeared in a magazine called Piketty with an article about a book she had been commissioned to write for Guy Hudson. The magazine and Cicely herself were immediately issued a cease and desist due to the inclusion of pictures that she never had the rights to publish. The issue was pulled from store shelves, making it an instant collector's item. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Piketty. Oh. A Piketty is a category of flowers with an outline around the edges of its petals. Whale. Okay, we also have to look up her books. Maybe I can go like this. Maybe I can type in Piketty and then put in... Oops. Yes! Oh! That's how you can also find periodicals. That was the only one I couldn't have just Googled before. Or spider searched. It is an issue that focused on taking toy fish and the demonic messages it supposedly said as the batteries ran low. Oh. Piketty had an article about a canceled book by Cicely Sanchez. The book's subject was Guy Hudson, and the issue was said to contain pictures that Cicely did not have the rights to publish. Because of the pictures, the issue was pulled from store shelves, making it the subject of some conspiracies and an insider instant collector's item. Due to this recall, the version was found in these archives as incomplete. Where? Oh, well that's not... Where's the photo? Piketty, Bath a bulb. Could this popular gift be filling homes with satanic messages? Exclusive, Cicely Sanchez reveals Roottrees secrets. Oh, there's 8 of these. What is this? I can't see. Plus the utensil, well, they help you lose 50 pounds. This was the issue of Piketty magazine that contained an article about Cicely Sanchez. The story concerned an unreleased book she had written about Guy Hudson. Oh, this is one of those things that you click the button and it goes... It seems that it used photos of Guy that Cicely did not own the rights to publish. Unfortunately, the magazine was issued a cease and desist by the Rootrees lawyers. The magazine was pulled from the shelves, and the version you found in your periodical search had the relevant pages removed, rendering this magazine useless unless you want to read about a potential demonic fish toy. Well, but, I mean, clearly not. This has something to do with something. This is saying the exact same thing, basically. The books. Let's go back to her books. Portrait of a Changed Man. Cicely Sanchez. Let's look up her books. Oh, I think I've spelled it wrong. Oh yes, without the C. Oh no. Okay. The book's description is this to say, what if everything you stand for, everything you know to be true today could disappear in an instant? All of your politics, relationships gone in the blink of an eye. Would you still be you? Cicely Sanchez tells this powerful true story about a man who woke up after being saved from drowning in his backyard pool and became an entirely different person. Included are interviews from those that knew him best before, as well as a one-on-one chat that paints an entirely different picture. You won't be able to put it down without wondering, what if that were me? Well, that doesn't help me, girl. I hate to break it to you, that does not help me at all. Nope. Okay, what about the other one? Foreign Gospel? Shoot. Foreign Gospel tells a tale of a man from the Catholic Church who claims he was told by God that he should travel to Thailand and begin to preach, specifically with the goal to convert 10,000 people. He returned to the United States after just over 2 years, claiming to have succeeded. The book tells his version of the story, but the author, Cicely Sanchez, also traveled to Thailand to investigate these claims and talk with some of the so-called converted. What did that... What did you help me with? We could look up the biography of Van Gogh. Like, what? An unreleased book she had written about Guy Hudson. What? I don't know. 8 things. Cicely Sanchez reveals Roottrees secrets about Guy Hudson. What do we have in relation to Guy Hudson before? Let's just look. We have his mom. Maybe we can look up his mom. I was also thinking maybe we could look up his last time we never got an answer about what like if there really was a root tree curse, or if anything like was happening with that, right? Because if I remember, they thought the root tree curse was like that all the presidents died for some reason, and I don't know if that has anything to do with anything. During her initial search, she came across Thomas Overwood's conspiracy page about the root trees. 8 months later, the page still exists and is thriving. The visitor count has reached 7 digits. Many older articles have been replaced. It seems that the recent uprising in root tree news has left Thomas Overwood with a constant stream of events to base new theories on. More than one of his theories involve root trees' deaths being faked. According to Overwood, statistically, when you have this many high-profile people who have died in a family, the odds are that one of them faked their death. Okay, it's just math. Is that based in anything? This newfound focus on death faking seems to coincide with posts mentioning that he's begun believing the guy's not dead theory. Guy's not dead. In his own words, my eyes have been opened. All of this is beginning to make too much sense. The guy's not dead. What are you guys talking about? One of his posts details the belief that Ron Rootree is still in charge, Gwen Rootree's death was faked, and that Clark is only there to throw people off. Apparently, this allowed Ron to travel to France to develop their new candy recipe in secret. Another is about the rapper 5 Piece. He can't possibly be a root tree. One of his first albums was when he was performing under the devil name, actually mentioned that he wanted to have sex with Raina. Well, yeah, because he didn't know they were related, okay? Not even Sam Madsen is spared. According to Overwood, the author of 6 Pieces isn't real. Sam Madsen is an anagram for Am Madness. Well, okay. They're purposely leaving hints for us. He claims that by using 6 Pieces with Lauren Rootree's book as a one-time pad, he has begun to decrypt a cipher. Most of the cipher has seemed meaningless, but he managed to pick out the words of people and vastness, and is working on figuring out what it means. What? Okay. There's also a request at the bottom. Next year, 2000, is a leap year, and Overwood is looking for funds and volunteers to catch the Roottrees red-handed in Operation RT29. He specifically mentions not to volunteer if you've ever drunk Spirit Cola. He doesn't go into why. We'll look this up again too, really fast, just to see if this has anything to do with anything. Nope. But this? Bro, what are you talking about? Guy's not dead. Oh my gosh. The Guy's Not Dead conspiracy stems from a website that focuses on clues that— oh my gosh, there's a lot that's not printing. Oh my gosh. Okay, then that's gonna be juicy. The conspiracy stems from a website that focuses on clues that the Roottrees have supposedly hid all over the place. This includes on candy wrappers and print advertisements and television commercials and their jingles, etc. The story, according to the website, is that Guy Hudson was a terrible president of the Rootree Candy Company and introduced multiple failed products. Yeah. Something needed to be done that would put the company immediately and instantly back in the favor of consumers, so they killed off Guy Hudson and replaced him with a new president. The move immediately garnered sympathy, and the company recovered the next year more popular than ever. The next president stayed much further out of the limelight, and some people even theorized that he was simply Guy Hudson in an elaborate disguise, which is why he stopped appearing in public when he got sick, you dum-dum. The people who run the site are asking for help. They're certain that there's a clue to all of this that is accidentally leaked in a banned article from the magazine Piketty. On their page is a scan of the magazine's cover, the interview with Cicely Sanchez about Guy Hudson, and some photos. You add them to your evidence. Oh my gosh, what is this? Oh my gosh, wait. Oh! Wait, what? Is this the same thing as— oh, wait, that was related? Okay. What are you guys? Boom. Oh my. Get your face out of— stop, you cheater. Are you— oh, you're somebody back there. Ooh. Drama. Okay. First, foremost, taking all the pictures. Boom, boom, boom. That's Zach Morton, isn't it? I think that's Zach Morton. That looks like him, right? We'll find out if it's not, but I'm putting it in there for now. All right, let's go reading. The photo is from the first— this photo is the first from a magazine interview with Cicely Sanchez and Piketty. The issue of Piketty magazine that it came from was pulled from the shelves, but you managed to find it online. Piketty does not label as individual photos. Both photos were instead under the shared label. Cicely was provided these photos by the Rootree Company for use in their book. In the background of the photo, there is a Christmas tree. Yeah, I see that. Who are you? Her husband? Okay, maybe we should read the article first, but I don't care. This photo is the first from a magazine interview with Cicely Sanchez and Piketty. The issue of Piketty magazine that it came from was pulled from the shelves, but you managed to find it online. Okay, this is the same thing. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is an interview with Cicely Sanchez, an author. She was hired to write a book about Guy Hudson. You claim to have been paid a significant amount to write a book about one of the Roottrees, Guy Hudson. He was a president for a short period at the end of the 1970s, right? Yeah, I met him on New Year's Eve, actually. Maybe that's the Christmas tree. The last night of 1978, Guy liked to throw big parties. I was just coming off of Changed Man, right, and looking for my next project. When his wife learned who I was, she invited me to the party and they cornered me to talk about my book. Oh my gosh. I'll talk about a book. This was the first time anyone recognized me for my work. I had finally made it. The book they asked me to write sounded great, but then none of the stuff that made him interesting was allowed to say. Chop, chop, snip, snip. Anything with even the slightest threat to Guy's image ended up gonzo. Well, of course. What was the stuff that made him interesting? At his core, Guy was not complicated. In fact, I think I could boil him down to two traits. First, he wanted to be seen as a second coming of the great Elias Rootree. And second, he had never been satisfied living the life needed to be seen that way. Right, he was a bad guy. He had his fortune and good looks, and he really likes to exploit that to pick up women, but he couldn't let anyone else know, so it cost him a lot to cover it up. That was the only interesting aspect of Guy. He was James Bond trying to convince people he was Mr. Rogers, I guess. Mr. Rogers, really? Maybe that's not the best metaphor, but Elias Rootree was boring as all hell and all about family. Guy did everything he could to be seen that way. After I submitted my first draft, he sent me this garbage book, The Rootree Legacy, with Elias on the cover. The last time he and I met, he even switched out his orange shoes for the same green ones Elias wore. The Rootree Legacy. We're looking that up. And remember fancy flavors. Guy knew that part of Elias's legacy was the 5-piece flavors, so that's what Guy tried to do too. Caviar was a disaster here, but it was actually somewhat popular in Brazil for whatever reason. And Christmas 1979, he went to Brazil to open the Rootree Brazil factory. Oh, I knew I was something with that. Guy was always hopping around the world trying to recreate that success. So how come the book never came out? It's complicated. I had an out in my contract. Surprisingly, Guy signed the contract my lawyers wrote without running it by anyone in his legal department. I could pull my name off the book at any time, but Guy still got the content. After I left, it probably got a lot harder to convince any real publisher to give it their time. Okay. There's two things on here. Probably these two things. I don't know. We'll see. How he was the president, right? Do you know why he never released it himself? If I had to guess, his family very wisely put a stop to it. Mid-1981, months after I had already moved on, he called me back and showed me a final draft. Do you know how expensive it is to publish one copy of a book? It had my name on it, in big, shiny, embossed letters, like all problems in his life. Oh, like all problems in his life, throwing money at me was an attempt to win me back, but it had half the page count and the narrative was torn to bits. No thanks. The dinner was good, imported steak that likely cost as much as a month of my mortgage, and we all got pretty drunk. He sent his mistress, Susie something into his bathroom to proposition me. Poor girl, I remember her from our trip overseas. She was too good to him. Anyways, he died soon after, and that was the last that ever came up. Oh, he died soon after. So she was a recent mistress? Which means she is... Where'd she go? Recent mistress of Guy. Meaning he would be... Or she would be here? Maybe? Susie Hughes? Susan? I don't know. We'll see. What can you tell me about the family? Any insight into the scandals from the recent book by Sam Madsen? I actually haven't read it. I just skimmed the sections on Guy to see why people were suddenly calling me up to ask about the man. I'd say she did well for what she had to work with. She only had rumors, whereas I spent time tailing him. Sometimes he knew something Sometimes he knew, sometimes he didn't. He invited me to join them when dealing with Roottrees Brazil. But I actually had people on him when he went to Australia, France, and China too. So maybe I should look up those as well. Like Roottrees Australia, France, and China. When he met with someone, I'd figured out who they were and how they were involved, doubly so if the meeting happened when he didn't want me to be around. Despite his best efforts, I got the whole truth, including things even his family never knew. For example, the daughter of his business partner in Australia, I think her name was Robin. He and she definitely spent a few nights together that he didn't want his family to know about, but I did. Okay. So Robin is also a potential mistress. So many potential mistresses. I mean, she could also be blowing smoke up my butt and be lying as well, so who knows? Oh no, not terms. Shoot, people. Oh, I just put this in the wrong place. That's why it was confusing. Okay. Mattson got things wrong. Sam mentions guys' affairs and treats them like most people would logically think to treat them, like the infidelity was a problem for Patricia. When his wife first approached me, though, it wasn't to talk. If you get my meaning. Oh. On paper and in public, it was a marriage like any other, but in reality, it was more of a mutually beneficial arrangement. Oh, they both were cheating. Okay. They both got what they wanted out of it. Is that the same thing? What was that? I assume I only have to spell it out to you so you can get into writing for your readers. Women, but don't out Patricia. Patricia, that's like, don't out her. You don't need to know that. Patricia enjoyed the company of women, and the swinger scene made that more accessible. I told her I was interested in her and Guy. I found out later that if I had said yes, her next question would have been whether or not her husband actually had to be there too. Guy, on the other hand, was seen in a traditional marriage and at the same time could bed any women that found him charming. I can assure you that was exactly the type of marriage he was interested in. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're looking up Roottrees, Brazil. Okay, Roottrees Brazil. Oh my gosh. Actually, hold on. I'm gonna look that up in a second. That's a lot of reading. So just hold on. Okay, hold on. I think I'm gonna actually try to figure out which one this woman is, because I think this is Zach Morden, right? So that's when he was retiring. So if we can figure out who was working, what secretaries were working when they switched over, we can find out who this is. I think, right? So let's go to, no, shoot, this. Where's it at? This? Okay, when did Zach retire? I don't freaking know. Oops. Oh, this is the back. President Zach Morden. Guy Hudson has replaced Ernest Jr. Mattson as special management. Zach Morden retirement party, 1977. Okay. 1977 was Joanna, are no longer employed. Oh, that was before. But Christine Farrow was a secretary and became Christine Garland around that time. When was she hired? Okay, she's not listed in here, so she was already hired. Okay, so then this Christine Farrow, that must be Christine Farrow, this photo. And is this like at the time of the affair? Or no, because cashier, but maybe she was a secretary. I think she said she went back to being a secretary. Which of these kids are hers, though? Or guys? I don't know. What about the other picture? Can we do anything with that? I mean, it was Christmas time. Oh, there's Christmas parties. Beth Knox, 50-year work anniversary. are you? And who are you? And who are you guys? Whose husband has a photo though? I mean, here, if that's her, and her husband has a photo, right? I'm assuming that's her husband. And then who is that? Does she have a bonus photo? No. But I presume... I mean, I guess... No, they wouldn't be over here. I mean, maybe that's the other mistress. Or maybe that's the mistress that came after. No, but she was a teacher. But she was also working for them at the time. Oh. Maybe she goes up here. I don't know. I feel like if she was here, she'd be pregnant when this was happening. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, let's go back to... Oh, geez. All of this. There's a lot here. Okay. Rootree Bazil. Hold on. Rootree Brazil, sometimes erroneously referred to as Rootree Brazil, is one of the companies created to manufacture and distribute Rootree candy. It was developed as part of the Rootree Everywhere initiative. Okay, well, there you go. Near the beginning of 1979. Unlike some of the other Rootree Everywhere results, Rootree Brazil seems to be a success. You do some rough translating and find a significant amount of information on it. Brazil was the only region in which caviar flavored pieces, 5 pieces, released at the end of 1978, were a hit. The primary reason that the factory still exists to this day is solely to create that flavor, which comes in its own standalone 5 pieces bag with Portuguese writing. A small town named Alvalagos, I think, near the municipality of São Bernardo do Campo, I can't pronounce things, I'm so sorry, became the location chosen by the Rootree Candy Company after a newly elected local politician named Edson Soares. I'll look you up, sir. Heard that they were planning a new factory and petitioned them in early 1979. The factory was controversial, as locals did not want it there. The Rootrees visited Brazil around Christmas and managed to break ground on the project. Since then, however, it has been operating relatively smoothly except for 2 incidents. The first was Incendio de Bordo in 1982, and the second was an unsuccessful strike in 1955 that involved all the factory workers being replaced. The factory was built and run according to paperwork at the time by a small company called Novo Coracao de Doces Brazil. I don't know how to pronounce this, I'm so sorry. Which roughly translates to New Brazil Candy Corporation. The company no longer exists, and not much information has ever existed about it, and the Rootrees now run Rootree Brazil. The Rootrees now run Rootree Brazil entirely. Okay? Alright, let's start looking stuff up. Maybe this isn't a periodical though. The Rootrees Everywhere Company includes Rootree Brazil, Os, Rootree, and France tend to be difficult to find anything about them due to the massive amounts of advertising and business deals unrelated to your search that they've been a part of. You don't find anything more, though you may be able to find more by searching the individual people involved with the deals that led to the company's creations, okay? None of the Rootree Everywhere forays made a blip on the local news radar. There are very, very brief mentions here and there when things were announced, but certainly nothing relevant to your search. It seems at the time of the company's expansion, the late 70s, the magazine considered the Rootree company to be in a state of disarray, and as a result didn't report in detail on their initiatives. This was compounded by the fact that oftentimes the most important deals were happening far from Butler. As far as you can tell, the Butler County Times never even mentioned Guy Hudson by name in any of these articles. They preferred to lump him under the umbrella of Rootree leadership. Okay. So we'll look up the rest of those Rootree company things later, but we're going to do Edson Soares first. He was a Brazilian politician. You find his dissertation published by a college student as part of their PhD in history. It focuses on the rise of democracy in Brazil. It seems that up until 1988, Brazil was run by the military, and the politics during that time were often a hotbed for corruption and nepotism. The paper tells of a few politicians at the time, including Edson Soares. Edson is a former mayor of Valagos, Brazil. Before politics, he was a manager at an automotive manufacturing plant for a major American car company. He was put in charge of all Valagos by the military government in 1973. As mayor, he used his manufacturing background and knowledge of American business to establish new factories, distribution plants, and other business ventures in the area. This had two side effects. First, he became quite rich. Second, many locals were forcibly relocated. Well, that sucks. This did not make him a popular mayor, and what the paper speculates was a move to counteract this unpopularity. His wife, Sonia, was discreetly put in charge of a television station called This? Whatever that is. He often used his connection to ensure supporters would appear on local television supporting his beliefs and emphasizing his political victories. He remained in office until 1988 when he was defeated in the first election after the military government was no longer in control. After the election loss, he quickly left the town behind. It is not known where he has gone, but the dissertation eventually speculates he likely fled to stay alive. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Well, let's go back to this. It might be relevant about his wife. Possibly, but we'll find out. Okay, Telerede, a former television station in Brazil, it came into being in 1970 after a vacuum was created due to the removal of a different network at the hands of the Brazilian military dictatorship. Due to a lack of resources online, you don't have much to go on about who ran it and when. But, might be over here. Nope. Alright, what about Sonia, his wife? Oh. There does not seem to be anyone relevant by the name of Sonia Soares listed anywhere online you can find. However, Spider Search does return a page that lists a news anchor in Brazil named Flavio Soares who has a mother named Sonia. Okay. Ooh! Flavio is a young Brazilian newscaster with a bit of a cult following. The discourse surrounding him is, to put it in polite terms, lewd. Oh. There's a website about something called fan fiction that has a small section dedicated to him. It seems that women, and some men, of a wide variety of ages and writing skill tend to find him worthy of inclusion in their stories. You skim some of the tales there and learn that a common thread is that he's currently dating a supermodel named Ashley York. There's so many leads to look up, oh my gosh. Like, look at all, that's so much. Well, this is not relevant anymore, but there's a lot. Many stories either seem to ignore her existence or get her out of the picture rather quickly. There are also other more traditional fan sites that list some things about him, including his age, his zodiac sign, 18 Libra. I'm a Libra. Yeah. His favorite food, grilled steak, and his mother's name, Sonia. Also, it seems that Flavio translates to golden haired. One website with a signed publicity photo of Flavio seems to confirm this. This photo has been added to your evidence. Okay. Are you in here, sir? Oh, Teen Blast. Ashley York, a British model, appeared on the cover of Teen Blast wearing a fur shawl 3 months ago. The appearance doesn't lead to any useful information, but another more recent appearance in the text only mentions she's dating Flavio Soares. In it, a Teen Blast reporter asked how they met. I was in Rio for Carnival, and he was on one of the parade floats. I have no idea who he was, but I liked what I saw and told my people to invite him to the party I was going to. I had felt pretty stupid once I realized that we were going to his party, well, his mother's party. She runs a media empire down there called This. Okay. Like 70 million things to look up. To Natasha, kisses from Brazil, Flavio. Okay. So he was probably a child of one of the people he met in Brazil. Are you his mom? Will you tell me if you were? Are you her girl? You can tell me. Christmas time. It was around Christmas time. So let's see. Let's go into here. It was around Christmas. New Year's Eve ball, 1979. I gotta remember what year all these things were in. Oh my gosh. Right, so Zach retired in 1977. So 1979 would have been like this was 1982. So 1979 was one of these. So the Christmas party was in 1979. Was there more than one Christmas party? Let's go find out. Well, Christmas tree bash. Because sometimes you still have your tree up at New Year's, but Christmas tree bash is 1978. New Year's Eve ball 1978. New Year's Eve ball 1979. New Year's Eve ball 1980. Christmas tree bash in 1980. Christmas tree bash 1981. So it could have been 1979, 1980, 1981 could have been the Christmas. This could be him. But they got divorced, so we have to figure out if she divorced. Because this is still just a guess. She could be over here. But no. Wait. Oh, she never had a husband. So this has to be her. Because he has a photo. So this has to be her. Is this your kid? Does he look like his dad? Oh, that wouldn't matter. If that's Guy's son, that wouldn't matter. I don't know. I'm gonna put him here for now, but we'll figure it out. But hold on. Let me take my notes. I forgot to take my notes. People. I was gonna look that up. Flavio Suarez might be one of Guy's kids, possibly. Okay, let's look up this. Okay, it's a massive group owned and run by a mysterious woman named Sonia Alves. It seems Sonia Alves is a common name in Brazil, so she has shortened her name to Nia to stand out in the public's eye. According to a history page that focuses on her company and vague, unsearchable details, Nia received a significant inheritance in 1980 and invested in many different manufacturing businesses in her hometown, Brazil. Inheritance. Hush money. At the same time, she had just begun to learn the ins and outs of running a television network. She continued to work in television until 1988, when Brazil began its period of reform. She felt this was the perfect opportunity to launch her own media company using her investments and connections. Now her company owns television networks, magazines, and newspapers and advertising firms. She's CEO. After doing some translating, the page about Nia lists her as unmarried. It still does not go into any other relationship history. Searching for Nia online, you'll learn that she stays out of the spotlight. She doesn't even appear at shareholder meetings. She sends a proxy. Oh. So, meaning that's not who I thought it was. This has come up many times in Business Watch due to their status as one of the wealthiest media companies in South America. There is too many results based on one-off mentions and name drops for anything to be useful. But I can look up Sonia. Possibly. Oh, which is Portuguese for no relevant results. It seems that she is a fairly common name in some parts of the world. Okay. So good. Well, what about here? Nope. Okay, but what about Nia? That's the same thing. Nia Alves owns many forms of media in Brazil under the umbrella of Transmissão Paulo. Business Watch has mentioned her by name a few times. The most recent most relevant appearance seems to be an article about the struggles of American media companies to do business with their foreign counterparts due to difference in laws. A few media groups countries are discussed, including those in Africa and the Middle East. Transmissão Paulo in Brazil is also discussed. Due to its lack of freedom of speech in Brazil, there has been added bureaucracy in publishing certain stories on Transmissão Paulo's channels. Nia is extremely private about her identity and supposedly once used her connections to have a reporter filed from rival network and blacklisted. Oh my gosh. Journalists claim that this was to shut down a story he was doing about her personal life, including that her marriage in 1973 was not of her own choice. His research claimed that she had essentially had her husband forced upon her as a child bride at the age of 15. It also claims that past appearances with her husband have been for show, they do not live together, and that she resents her own parents for the arrangement. Oh wow. The final claim was that she must have made her money under the table through nefarious and possibly illegal means during Brazil's dictatorship, as his Research uncovered that she could not possibly have earned enough to start a media company otherwise. After making this statement, the reporter went into hiding in fears for his safety. So she did have a husband. Although, is this... Because if she has a husband, she has to be one of this or this. And these have husbands. Maybe... I don't know. Okay, so this must be Sonia. Sonia Alves. Who, I mean, was she a CEO or what? What did she do? Let me try to figure out, I guess, more her specific job. Oops. She owned a media company. So what is that? Advertising? No. CEO? Maybe. I shouldn't have clicked that if I didn't know. Fire? No. Housewife? No. Media mogul? Maybe. I don't know what a media mogul is. Let me look up what a media mogul is. A wealthy, powerful business owner who controls major mass media companies such as television, networks, newspapers, or digital platforms. So maybe a media company. Yeah, I'll put her there. Sonia Alves had, what was his name? Flavio Suarez. You were, I don't know. I don't remember what you were, sir. A young Brazilian newscaster. News anchor. Oh, nothing locked in yet. 1, 2, 3. How many people? Oh, I don't have 4. I don't even know if these are right, though, so we'll find out. But I still have this photo. Oh, did I not put Guy Hudson's other photo in here? I guess I didn't. I found some of them. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. All right, let's go see what else we have to look up. So we looked up that. Maybe we look up this. I don't know if that's gonna... That has something to do with Flavio. We have a lot of periodicals now, dang. That's why I'm glad I did the search all option, because that would have taken 7 million years to look through everything. Oop. Oh yeah, we looked at her. Ashley York is a British supermodel who does ads for perfume, clothing, and jewelry. She's been the subject for some controversy in the past few months, having been protested by PETA for wearing fur on the cover of some magazines. She's dating a young Brazilian news anchor named Flavio Suarez, which has brought them somewhat into the limelight. But he doesn't have a child, so that doesn't matter. We're getting there though. Like, I'm getting a lot. This is gonna be a fun little day over there. But Guy, oh my gosh, Guy, we're getting some stuff done. Oh, Incendio de Bordo translates to maple fire. In 1982, the factory was deliberately attacked in case of clear arson. The fire was brought under control after destroying about 2/3 of the production floor, and locals claimed that the air smelled like a mix of burning plastic and maple syrup. The factory was rebuilt and continues production to this day. At the time, it was unknown why this happened, but last year a news special did list the incident as well as a few others in the small town as backlash to perceived corruption in the government at the time. According to the report, the mayor of the city was found to be receiving a cut of the factory's profits. Okay, interesting. Doesn't seem particularly relevant though. I looked into you. Root tree everywhere. I looked up that. I also looked up that, I'm pretty sure. Look up here. Root tree everywhere was an expansion in the late 1970s. It coincided with some other large changes at the company and had mixed success. As far as you can tell, the different companies related to it were all formed in very different and sometimes haphazard ways. There's minimal organized information about the history of the expansion itself online, but you can glean the following. Rootree candy has been distributed globally to certain markets approved by Elias as early as the 1940s. This included places like Canada, Mexico, and select countries in Europe, mostly the UK. Rootree Everywhere involved Rootree's expansion to other major markets that were assessed to be ready for Rootree. This started with 4 that it had no share in: Australia, Brazil, China, and France. Each of the countries had an entirely new company formed, mostly by making deals with local distributors and manufacturers. I'm gonna have to look all that up. Oh no. I'm gonna have to Google these. But just these. Or spider search, sorry, I don't want to get in trouble. Okay, let's look you up first. Rootree Oz is one of the companies created to manufacture and distribute Rootree candy. It was developed as part of the Rootree Everywhere initiative in 1979. According to a history website, Charles Martin, who owned a company that manufactured licorice in Australia, was tapped to run the Rootree factory after he impressed the American leadership of the Rootree Candy Company at the time. Rootree Oz did have some success, but only in certain regions. The manufacturing leg of the company shuttered in 1992 after the death of Martin, and Rootree Oz now serves as an importer and distributor. Alrighty. Charles Martin. Business Watch mostly focuses on American businesses, but the expansion of Rootree into Australia did create a bit of a blip in 1978. It mentions that Charles Martin met with the legal and leadership teams from Rootree in late 1977. They came to an agreement and broke ground on a new factory in early 1978. The Rootree company's statement, said to come directly from the president, was brief and a bit awkward. Rootree is excited to bring a new adventure down under. We're extremely impressed with Charles Martin and feel like this expansion heralds a new area for Rootree that will last for years to come. Rootree is founded on family, and Charles' family has also impressed us, especially his daughter Robin. Where have I heard that before? We all know she'll continue to steer the ship just as Elias Rootree's family continues to do so here in the USA. I've heard that name before. Robin. Robin was one of his affair partners, right? Robin. I think it was, mistress. Shoot. Australia. Okay. Wait, hold on. Reorder. Where's the reorder button? I always forget. Okay. Robin Martin. Last name Martin. Okay, cool. Fun. Okay, we also have Rootree or China Rootree. Let's see if that's important. China Rootree is one of the companies created to manufacture and distribute Rootree candy. It was developed as part of the Rootree Everywhere initiative in 1979. During the late 70s, China began to go through a period of economic reform. This led to new opportunities for American companies, and the Rootree Candy Company decided to pounce. Lang Hongbo, look up you're a name. Who was said to personally win over the Rootree family and was the owner of multiple textile factories, did not wish to import the ingredients and built a special factory to manufacture the candy in China. So instead they made a deal to import bulk, unpackaged Rootree candy and label it for not only China, but additional markets. Okay. Hongbo, who was already in his mid-50s when the deal happened, only had daughters, and his brother Lang Hongyu took control upon his death in 1986. After Hongyu died in 1992, it passed to the oldest child from the next generation, Lang Xingyu. Lang, probably? Okay. So those are important names we'll look up. This is a lot more reading than the first one. This is a lot more involved. That's all the same stuff. Okay, last one is Rootree France. Okay, let's look up Rootree France. Nothing new there. Rootree France is one of the companies created to manufacture and distribute Rootree candy. It was developed in 1979. Rootree France was a non-starter. Negotiations broke down pretty late in the process after the company had already been formed, and the leadership of Rootree went through very large changes soon after. The CEO of Rootree France was meant to be Tristan Robert. Well, then are you even relevant? I feel like they're just throwing in as many names as possible to just scare you. Like, I really feel like that's what they're doing. And just being little butt cheeks. Okay. Lang Hongbo. You come across a website for Lang Tai Textile Corporation. Oh my gosh. Which is a company that has helped expand Rootree's productions to China since the late 1970s. The company seems very accomplished. Their site has quotes from many different reporters and news articles listed on it, in nearly every language. It's also mentioned quite often on websites about Chinese businesses, but those who mention but those mentions are company focused and not people focused, and don't offer any information useful to your investigation. Their page contains a very rudimentary leadership timeline with names of proof the company has been in the Lang family for a long time. It kind of looks like a family tree. It goes back at least 250 years in some form of a nut or another. During the period where they began the Rootree deal, Lang Hongbo in China, the family name comes first, so Lang is his last name. Oh, okay. Was the CEO. He died before the internet was widespread, so there's not much out there other than his name on this website. His younger brother, Lang Hongyu, is featured on the history section directly following him. This also seems to be the only mention of the man. The current CEO is a woman listed simply as Xin Yu. The site doesn't list her last name, though she does appear in the family tree below Hongbo. Lang Tai has a few American logos on its page. One is a Rootree logo, another is Tranquilts, and its third is Peace for Alaska. Piece of Asia. I don't know where did I get Alaska from? Where did I get Alaska from? Somebody tell me. Okay. Lang Tai was mentioned in Business Watch fairly often in the last 20 years or so. There were a lot of articles about the rise of Chinese companies. Unfortunately, this makes search results not particularly helpful. When you start to find the oldest archives, however, one of the earliest mentions from October 1979 stands out as a very unusual because it doesn't involve Lang Tai's business. The article details a new, at the time, medical industry. In vitro fertilization was brand new, barely a year old. After the first successful IVF birth in 1978, it seemed the industry began to grow, and a featured article about different companies all over the world and the cost that they could charge for their services was in Business Watch. So should I look up IVF? Maybe. This includes a few cases of high-profile customers willing to pay a premium. Apparently at the time, the CEO of Lang Tai was Lang Hongbo and his young daughter Lang Xinyao, and her husband could not have children, so in an attempt to create a suitable heir, he paid Quidjins to have their child implanted in his older daughter, who was unmarried. The cost for this was apparently 380,000 won, or just over 100,000 USD. Wow. Just them two. She wasn't... Well then... I don't know. I think I already have... No, I don't have her. Okay, so... Right. Lots of people. Let's go back up, though. We did him. Let's do his brother, because he was probably who Guy was dealing with more closely. Oh! Nice, okay. Lang Xinyu is a businesswoman currently running the Lang Tai textile company. Oh, right, a sister. She was recently listed in an article on a website written by and for women. The article entitled In Power is about the recent rise of women entrepreneurs in China. The article states that due to her lack of brothers, she has a younger sister. Lang Xinyu took over as a CEO of her family's company in 1992 after her elderly uncle was deemed unfit to run the company due to mental deterioration. This was apparently an extremely controversial move amongst the company employers, and some of them, the article does not state how many, quit and wrote a letter stating that she must have coerced him in his vulnerable state. Since then, the company has been performing well. Her nephew, who is currently the second in command, is expected to take over when she retires. In the meantime, the board stance has been a twist on a popular proverb. The article roughly translates it as, someone that has proven they can do something well can do it 100 times well. An unproven leader could doom us all. Okay? The article also offhandedly mentions that Xinyu was an early adopter of IVF and helped her sister have a child. There is an unsourced picture of Xinyu in the article. It says that it's from 1992 when she took over. She was 45 at the time and has been added to your evidence. Okay. A photo of Lang Xinyu from a recent article about the growth of female entrepreneurship in China. She runs a business with many textile factories. Some manufactures packaging for American products. Oh, so what if they didn't actually... What is infidelity? What if he just... Either, okay, they just used his sperm to have a baby, or they're like, we used IVF, haha, and like the IVF didn't actually hold, but you know what did? He did. He did. From 1992, when she took over. She was CEO in 1992. So here... Oh, but she didn't have... wait, was she married? I can't remember. I don't know. Did she have more than one child? Maybe she's here. I don't know yet. Okay, we'll write her down though in people, because Xinyu helped her sister have a child. But this might be a fair partner of Guy. Okay, sorry. We shall see. We also have Robin, who is a mistress. So I think if you find a photo, you have to place it somewhere. But all this, bro, this one's gonna be a nightmare to find. But I want one more person. I want it so bad. Okay, searching for Lang Xinyu separately brings up much fewer results than Lang Tai. Lang Xinyu was even featured in Business Watch in 1992. She missed out on Watchman of the Year, but did have a pretty sizable article that mentioned some of her history. She was born in 1947, the first of 2 children. Her mother was already in her 30s when she had her, and had trouble conceiving a second time until 3 years later. That was Xinyu's sister. It became clear that her father was not going to have a son to pass the family business down to. This is how Xinyu became involved. Her father stayed at the president of Lang Tai for a very long time, and his daughters grew up. He began training them in hopes that one of them would have a son who could take over. One helped him in China, Xinyu, and the other in the USA. Neither were given any official titles. When he died due to societal dynamics, the business passed to his male sibling and younger brother. Many in the know knew that this could be a problem. His brother was not a businessman and was not much younger than his brother. During this time, Xinyu essentially ran the company as their uncle's consultant. He began to have problems related to dementia, and she, who had already been running things behind the scenes, performed somewhat of a power play. She stopped working until the results of his absence began to cause problems. Only then did they admit they needed her. As she should. As she should. Okay, so we looked up this. Tristan Robert was supposed to lead one of the companies, but I don't think he's relevant to anything. Oh, well, here's something. Tristan Robert is a businessman who at one time was in negotiations to take over Rootree fans. He is still alive, and you come across an interview unrelated to Rootree from a few months ago. It seems that other countries have not been immune to Rootreemania, as you recognize the word Rootree in one of the questions. It seems the interview snuck in a question about his experience with the company at the end of the 70s. The article is in French and takes some time to translate section by section. He mentions Guy by first name only, and the tale he tells is quite ugly. The translation is as follows. Guy, the president of Rootree, was one of the worst men I've ever met. Oh. He approached my wife about having an affair, which she refused. Good for her. He then kept insisting that this was the best way to celebrate at the end of a business contract. I don't think I expected her to say no, and I don't think he thought she would tell me what happened. I punched him in the face and refused to attend another meeting with the man. They lost a lot of money on this deal because not only was he a terrible person, but he was also a terrible businessman. Yeah. When he died shortly after, it felt like the universe was working things out. I wasn't surprised to learn he had a secret child, like 5 of them. He seemed to treat women like collectible pocket monsters. Oh my gosh. It seems mentioning Pokemon sidetracks the questions a bit, and the interview never returns to the subject of Rootree. Okay. So, not really relevant. I'm so sorry to end it here so abruptly, but the next thing we're going to look into is the Lang Tai Textile Company, I believe is what it's called. You'll see in the next one. But it's going to lead to some very juicy drama with one of Guy's mistresses, I promise. Like, it's... Tune in for the next video, because it's going to be a banger. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.